The first part of the question, the pros and cons are, obviously you get a lot of freedom. You can set your rate generally. You can, choose when you're working on things. You can choose what projects you want to work on, assuming you have projects coming in. And so you get a lot of choice, and you're kind of in control of your own destiny there, which to a lot of people is one of the most important things. But then obviously the cons are, you're influenced by the market. If there's a downturn, it can be difficult to find projects. Maybe you don't like dealing with people very much. And so, selling yourself or picking up projects can be difficult. So those are kind of the larger pros and cons for me. Choosing a project, obviously you have to have the right skills for it. You also, want to pick something that's interesting to you a lot of the times. Sometimes they're just bread and butter projects. So maybe you take a couple of projects to make sure that the bills are paid, and one or two more challenging projects where you really get your passion from. You like to work on this, you get to learn some things from it. And saying no is really critical. If you know that the project is going to cost this much to do, and the client doesn't want to pay that, then you have to learn how to say no. That's really going to be key. If you end up saying yes on a project that you can't complete in the price that the client wants, both of you are going to end up unhappy, and that's going to have knock-on effects. Maybe that client is going to talk to their friends, and it's going to impact future sales for you. Maybe you're just going to be miserable trying to deliver this project that you don't like doing, or that maybe you can't deliver. Maybe it was something that was a little too high above your skill set at the time. So yeah, saying no is one of the key things that you need to learn.
This is something that you will learn by experience. No one can tell you if you can take a project or not. Usually, I do research whenever, for instance, personally, I would do research on the client's requirements. I have to get the fine print. I just don't accept projects. So that's the first mistake. So you just don't accept the project just because the client would pay you, or the client wants you to build a WordPress site, and then you just immediately tell them yes. Most of the time when clients tell you that they want a WordPress site, eventually in the development process, they would want you to integrate different third-party services. They want to be able to connect it maybe to Facebook. We even had a client before who asked us to connect WordPress to Shopify. It's extremely important that you understand what the client wants. No, kumuha kayo ng listahan, preferably a very detailed list of requirements that they need. Kasi as freelancers, you have to give a quote beforehand. Before you even accept the project, you need to give an estimate. And usually, many freelancers who's just getting started, they actually make a mistake of just accepting parang any project without reviewing the requirements. So it's very important that you research on it. If you feel that something is too difficult, currently better not accept it. Better accept parang a simpler project. Kasi the downside is your reputation's gonna be at stake. You don't want to be known as someone who isn't able to complete a project. It's very important that when you commit to a project, whether you are an expert freelancer na or just starting, it's very important that you meet what's stated on your contract as a freelancer. This comes through experience. So as you take on more projects, you will understand what you can take at saka yung kaya mong i-take talaga.
First is the pros is yung freedom ng work. So you can work everywhere and anytime as long as you are connected to the internet. And yung freedom na pwede kang kumuha ng maraming clients as long as you can. And then yung salary will depend on your skills and kung gaano ka kasipag. At yung mga cons naman to be a freelance developer is yung pagiging unpredictable ng pagiging isang freelance developer kasi hindi natin alam kung meron ba tayong makukuhang clients or wala. Pangalawa, it's no benefits as a freelance web developer. Siguro pangatlo is a motivational issue. Yun yung isa sa pinaka magiging kalaban mo pag nag-freelance web developer ka is yung kung paano mo ma-motivate yung sarili mo to work every day. And siguro yung as a freelance web developer, yung separation of work and home Yun yung isa sa mga challenges doon kasi siguro mga na-experience nitong mga recent months ng ibang tao, yung pag-work from home, nawala na yung separation ng bahay at ng office. So, yun yung isa sa mga cons na parang feeling mo lagi ka nasa work. And to answer yung question na kung paano mo ma-weigh kung para sa'yo ba yung project na yun, gaya ng sinabi ni Davis, it's very important to weigh your skills at i-compare mo doon sa project. And idadagdag ko lang doon is yung time. As a freelance developer, you have a lot of time para kumuha ng maraming project. Pero dapat i-allot mo rin yung time na yon sa bawat project. Magkaroon ka rin ng magkaroon ka rin ng skills to time management para ma-handle mo yung mga project. Kasi usually yun yung nagiging mistake ng ibang developers. Kuha sila ng kuha ng maraming project pero hindi nila alam, hindi na pala nila kayang tapusin sa binigay na timeline. So yun.